$340? Walao, GameStop, you sure or not? Hi everyone, this is Kriscell from Kristainment, and today I'll be talking about GameStop, as well as doing a very detailed but layman type of explanation to exactly what's going on behind the scene. Okay, but before I go on, if you are new to my channel, please remember to subscribe and hit the bell button so that you'll be notified of any new videos that I'll be doing. So what is going on exactly? Alright, I would say the US stock market now, right, is very illogical and irrational. Alright, why I say so is because retail investors, who are people like you and me, are now going head on against multi-billion hedge funds investors, okay, in what may be seen as the first in the history of Wall Street. Okay, in fact, this whole entire saga was so massive and so big that many YouTubers, influencers, and even Elon Musk himself was involved, and all this for a company called GameStop, who is a brick and mortar game retailer in the US, specializing in buying back used software from gamers and then reselling them. Okay, in fact now, if you were to search GME, GME, okay, this three letter, which used to represent GameStop in the stock exchange, is one of the most popular hashtag in the social media world now. Okay, then terms like GameStop and short selling are also one of the most popular or most heavily searched items on Google. Okay, and if I may, to relate this whole entire saga to a poker game, to a poker game that most of us are very familiar with, okay, this will be a very high-stake poker game, high-stake poker game. Why I say so is because there's a possibility of having infinite losses for some of these hedge funds investors. Okay, so naturally, the US government was concerned. In fact, one of their press lady, Jean Pasky, if I may have pronounced her name correctly, okay, she did mention that the US government are also monitoring the situation very closely to see what are the outcomes, from it. So why is its share price so high? Okay, if you actually observe GameStop share prices over a period of time, you realize that on the 29th of January, it actually reaches an all-time high of about $340 per share. Okay, so in a normal situation, if I'm a shareholder, of GameStop, I would like, wow, money time, yay, 340. Okay, but here it's not. Okay, in this situation it's not. This is because the share prices here is being artificially, I would say in a way it's artificially inflated. Okay, due to the outcome of the war that's actually between the retail investors and the hedge funds investors. Okay, so what really happened here is that the hedge funds, these so-called big boys investors, the hedge funds investors, they're actually betting against GameStop prices. Okay, and they bet against it using this technique known as short selling. Okay, so on the other side of the spectrum, okay, we have the retail investors who are grouped under this sub-rated group known as the Wall Street Bets. Okay, and this group of users, this group of investors, they're actually holding on to the shares. Okay, why they are doing so is to actually corner all these big boys investors to a situation whereby they have no choice but to, because they eventually have to fulfill their obligations to the short selling, so they're trying to corner them. Okay, so this war actually started last week. Okay, and some of the users in the Wall Street Bets, they actually realized that, hey, actually they are in control of the amount of shares that are in circulation for GameStop. Okay, they're actually in control, and with that, with them holding on to the shares and the hedge funds investors are shorting it, okay, they actually create this situation whereby in order for the hedge funds investors to fulfill their obligation of the short selling, they will have to buy the share at a high price, and this actually causes the share prices to go higher and higher and higher. All right, so in a way, it's actually not so good for the hedge funds investor, because they are supposed to sell at this point and then buy at a lower point, because that's why they bet against it, you see. But because of this, they have no choice but to actually sell at this point but buy at a higher point. Okay, it doesn't make sense lah. Okay, but that's the situation that they are in now. Okay, which is also why potentially they could be losing an infinite number of money. All right, but you also realize that in the share prices for GameStop, actually there are a few points where it actually dips. Okay, so there's a few explanations to this. Okay, I'll just go through quite a few of them. Okay, so one, there are also investors. Like whether there's this hedge funds investors and the retail investors who are actually under this Wall Street Bets group. There are also investors who are just coming in for some quick cash, or there could also be some investors who are the original GameStop investors who want to cash out, their shares. Okay, so whenever this group of people actually started to cash out their shares, it actually causes a dip in the share prices. Okay, and another explanation of the dip, right, is also because during the last few days of this saga, some of the most popular trading apps, okay, we actually so-called grey out the buy option. Okay, meaning people cannot buy shares, cannot buy the GameStop shares. Okay, they can only sell it. So since no one is buying, the price will not go up, and since only people can sell, the price started to go down. Okay, so I hope these two explanations will be able to explain why the GameStop prices have a slight dip over a few occasions. Okay, but good news is it's still going up. Now we are looking at about 240 type of price ranges. Okay, it means that this short squeeze is still going on. What is short selling? Okay, let me explain to you in the layman way. Okay, but before I do that, okay, we need a few terms to be clear first. Okay, first we need to know what is a lender and a borrower. Okay, I assume all you know what's a lender and borrower. Okay, let's use these two terms here. Okay, so in the short selling situation, okay, the lender will be someone who actually owns tons of shares in a particular company. Okay, and then the borrower will be all the in this case the hedge funds investors. Okay, so for short selling, the hedge fund investor will borrow shares from the lender, and then they sell it at a lower price. Okay, and then because they're betting against it, you see, so they are hoping that the price will then go lower than their selling price, and then they will actually buy the shares at this price, return the shares back to the lender, and they earn the margin, the difference between the two prices. Okay, so that's short selling. So if you apply that to the GameStop situation, okay, so this is exactly what the hedge funds investors are doing. Okay, so while they are doing all the shorting, the Wall Street Bets users, they actually observe, they actually saw this thing that the GameStop actually went into a negative float situation. Okay, now you ask, what is a negative float? Okay, let me explain again. Okay, let me explain to you what is a negative float in a very layman way. Okay, so every company that is listed on the stock exchange, there has the fixed amount of stocks that they can trade with or circulate with. Okay, however, right, with shorting, right, you actually inflate this amount. So in the GameStop situation, the volume that is traded SG is at 140%. Okay, 40% more than what was being able to be traded in a normal situation. Okay, and hence some of the Wall Street Bets users actually observe this and they say that, hey, somebody is shorting. Okay, and they need to intervene, which is also why it started this movement in a way. Okay, so all the Wall Street Bets users, they started to rally people around them to actually start to buy the GameStop shares and hold it. Okay, so while the hedge funds investors are shorting it, okay, they need to fulfill their obligation. That means they need to return the shares back to the lender. But because the prices are not going down and in fact going up, they have no choice. Okay, all these hedge funds investors have no choice but to actually buy at a higher price so that they can fulfill their obligations. Okay, and in a way so this is what happened, and it actually causes the GameStop price to actually go higher and higher and higher. So now, what is GameStop role in this whole entire saga? Well, to be very frank, GameStop has no role at all. Yeah, you heard it right. It actually didn't. There's nothing GameStop can do. Okay, and it didn't play any significant role in this whole entire saga. So, like I said, it is a war that is between the retail investors and the hedge funds investors. So, sad to say, GameStop, you have no play in this. However, the initial shareholders of GameStop might be really celebrating at this point of time, because with the prices so high, okay, so high, some of their entry price could be as low as $4, okay, when the company actually started, okay, or when the company actually listed, okay. So with this huge, growth in the share prices, it's making some of them really super rich. So how much did people actually make in this whole entire GameStop saga? Okay, alright, so in this saga alone, it actually generated about close to $2 billion worth of wealth. Okay, however, do note that this is only paper money. Okay, so in order for this amount of wealth or money to be materialized, okay, there need to be real trading being done, and the company actually needs to take this money and then to reinvest into the business itself, so that to generate value. Okay, however, because for GameStop, the share prices are artificially inflated. Sad to say, it's actually pretty much, to me, it's artificially inflated. Okay, and GameStop is not doing much to actually reinvest this amount of money that supposedly they gain. Hence, sad to say, at the end of the day, there might be more people who are actually got their money burned off that they have invested in than those who actually make some decent money out of it. So how does this end? Well, short selling is a very risky business. Okay, I agree that the returns or the ROI may be very attractive. However, it's a very unconventional way of trading, I must say. Okay, because in a normal situation, usually people will buy low and sell high. Okay, that's a very typical way of trading. Alright. However, in short selling, it means that it is actually sell low and then buy lower. Alright, sell low and buy lower. So it's a very unconventional type of trading, if you were to ask me lah. Okay, that's my personal opinion. Okay, but to the hedge funds investor, okay, they don't see so. They see short selling as something that is very normal, because usually when share prices reaches a certain point, people will usually start to cash it. They will start to sell, and then they want to get some cash out of it. Okay, and this is where the share prices will actually start to drop. Yeah, and this is also where short selling will come in. Okay, however, for the case of GameStop, I would say it's, don't know is it fortunate or unfortunate. Okay, the Wall Street bets users spotted this, and they actually they have this unconventional way of thinking as well. So instead of selling, they are actually holding on to it and buying more, and this actually artificially causes the price to go up. Okay, so I think at the end of this, I think I would say the hedge funds investors are beaten at their own game by thanks to the Wall Street bets users. Okay, and as well as all the other retail investors who have joined this movement. Okay. Also, I think a lot can be learned from both angles of the hedge funds investor as well as the retail investors. Okay, so I think this saga has actually also taught me a lot. But I also have I have some advice lah. Okay, maybe one advice. Okay, that I think is the golden rule here. Okay, is that only invest what you can afford to lose. Yeah, because we may not be in total control of the market situation. Yeah, that's why see it as a bit of fun. Invest with what you can afford to lose, and if you gain, good for you. And if you lost, treat it as a lesson learned and do better the next time. Alright, that's it for this video. If you like this video, remember to give it a big thumbs up. Okay, and if you're new, be sure to subscribe, share, and hit the bell button so that you'll be notified of any new videos that I'll be doing. So till my next video, Kriscell, signing off.